Hello and welcome to this episode of the Retail Is podcast. I'm Joey Morgan. She's my co-host, Kylie Ross Cyber, and today we are joined by a local celebrity, Lashonda Sanford of Scratch Bakery, who recently was on Food Network's Holiday Baking Championship. Lashonda, thank you so much for gracing us with your celebrity presence.
Not a celebrity, but thank you guys for having me. I'm so excited, so excited.
So, well, first of all, I mean, we know you're a celebrity and you got quite a distance in the championship, but let's take a step back and just, do you want to talk a bit about like your company and where you are and how it came to be and stuff?
Yeah, so I am Lashonda Sanford. I own Scratch Bakery. I have owned Scratch Bakery for almost 10 years now. We opened August 2011. So almost 10 years we've been at this. With as far as a retail space, I was operating a little bit beforehand. So to have a store, it's been about 10 years almost. And in that time, we've opened 3 locations. So we've opened here in Port Warwick, we've opened in Williamsburg for a couple of years, and then we've opened in Hampton and Phoebus. And so currently we still have 2 locations, which is here in Port Warwick and in Phoebus and Hampton on Mellon Street. And we're excited about all the things that Scratch is doing. We are right in the middle of a renovation right now for our Hampton location. And we're super excited about that because we're going to expand a little bit, grow a little bit. I tell people it's if you basically the expansion of Scratch is going to be like Panera, Starbucks, and Scratch all had a baby, and that's what it's going to be. So we're excited about what we're going to be doing there. And it should be open by the springtime, hopefully.
Nice. Is that what you guys
long.
normally do, or have you typically just been the bakery and then you're adding in these other elements now?
So we have, when we first opened in Port Warwick, we actually did espressos, and we were like the coffee as well, but we kind of dwindled down with that here in Port Warwick. And so what we're going to do is revitalize that and be the coffee house in Phoebus, because it's much needed there in Phoebus. So we're going to be, and then we're going to expand a little bit on our sandwiches and our lunch items. We already do our homemade chicken pot pies and chicken salad sandwiches. And so we're just going to expand that just a little bit. And of course, we have our homemade ice cream there that's really popular. So you got your ice cream, you got your coffee, you got your bakery goods. I mean, I don't see what else you would need, really.
We should not be doing this podcast during lunchtime.
Yes, you are you going to change the name then? Is it like Scratch Bakery and Cafe and? It's
going to be. We're thinking on that. Scratch Bakery Cafe sounds about right. We're still playing around with that. We will have hopefully around 20 seats inside where you can come in. Of course, it's COVID, so everything's a little different, but we do have space for private dining there. So if you wanted to have like a private little get together, you can come there and do that as well as a patio that seats about 15 or 20 people as well. So we're really excited about what we're doing in Hampton for sure.
Gosh, you've come a long way in 10 years, Well, when you started, like, were you like doing it out of your home or something?
Yeah, so I started in my home. My daughter was turning 2. She is about to be 17. So she was turning 2, and we wanted to have her a really nice cake. I'm from Kentucky, and we have really nice bakeries where we go to the bakery and get a cake. And so we had gotten her first birthday cake at this really nice bakery. We went back for her second year, and they were closed. And so I thought, oh my God, I have the task of trying to make this cake. Now, I used to, I've always made like cakes and, cooked as well, but never anything like decorated, never anything that I could sell like a decorated products. So I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta like research this. And I put everything I had into like trying to make this Elmo cake. And so I researched it, and me and my husband together, we made this really cute Elmo cake and brought it on the table. And all my friends were like, where did you get this Elmo cake? I'm like, I made it. They were like, there's no way you made this cake. So I had to like bring the buttercream out and show them I made the homemade buttercream. Here's the cake, I made it. So from that cake, I got orders for more Elmo cakes and SpongeBob cakes. And then it kind of went from there. And so shortly after that, I was making cakes and carrot cake, which is kind of what I'm known for almost now at this point. And I was, bringing it to banks and things like that. And then I had gotten to a place called Bounce House. And so where you would come and get your party cupcakes for me. And so that's kind of how we got started. And then we started with our retail space after that. So kind of a long progression from my home kitchen to, we converted our entire garage to a kitchen with another stove, and it was easy. And so my husband was like, look, is this going to be a career or a hobby? Because this is getting crazy. Yeah. And we lost some major things because we were a home-based business. And so we were like, well, my husband said, look, this is going to be a career or a hobby. And so I think it was very shortly after that, maybe 2 or 3 months, I was looking at a retail space. And so that's how we got started.
Excellent. So we've heard a little bit about what you do and then how you got started. So let's get into the Food Network, the Baking Championship. How did you get on that program?
They just called me up.
Really?
To be honest to God.
So you're already a star.
Everyone's like, well, what did you do? And how did they know you? And I'm like, I don't know how they knew me. We almost didn't talk to them because we thought they were like a telemarketer. So my staff was like, she's not, I don't know if she's going to be available. And I'm like, and they're like, oh, the Food Network, 1 second. We were like, oh my God, who is calling? And so they were like, hello, this is such and such from the Food Network. Have you heard of us before? I'm like, yes. And so it was like, they were like, hey, we think that you would be a great person for a little show called the Holiday Baking Championship. And so from that phone call, I said, that sounds interesting. I don't know what I was getting myself into. Mm-hmm. And it was the very next day I was interviewing with producers from the show through Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
And how long between when that all discussion happened and when it was shot?
It was about just a couple months from the first conversation until they flew me out. Maybe 4 or 5 months probably. And the dates kept changing because of COVID. So it seemed like it was going to be a long time that I had to prepare, but honestly, it came up so quickly. Yeah. Because I had to prepare my stores. That I'm going to be gone for I don't know how long, depending on how well I do. I could be there for 1 day, or I could be there for 3 weeks. So yeah. It was a big deal. I ended up being there for every single show except for one. So I was in LA for 21 days without, being here and managing the staff. And I do have 3 children and a grandchild, and my husband was delirious, but he held down the fort pretty good. I was like, just hold it down. It's almost over. So I really hadn't anticipated being there for so long. I just didn't know how well I was going to do. I just didn't know what to expect. And it was really all the unknown, and you just don't know. You just going in blind. And so I had a really, really, really good time. I'm so glad I went.
Yeah. Nice. When was it filmed?
Yeah.
We filmed in August.
Okay. Nice. So
where was it filmed?
It was filmed at the Terranea Resort in LA, Rancho Palo, California.
It sounds very fancy.
What was the tell us a little bit about the process, the actual, like when you were on the show, what was the whole baking process like? What did you make? What was your what was that experience?
Well, like I tell people, most of the things that I made, I never made before, and I never really tasted some of the stuff that I made before. So really it was just improv and just trying to use my roots and just, I'm like, Lashonda, you know how to bake, you can bake anything. So, and I always say, people will come into the bakery and they'll say, can you make me a French apple pie? Or can you make me an eclair? Or can you make me something that's not on your menu, but can you make it? And I've always said, I can make anything, I can make it. Mm-hmm. And so I really tried myself, on the show, because I made most of the things I made, I never heard of. The Charlotte Royale, who in the world has heard of that before? Not me. So, using fresh chestnuts, and I don't use whole fresh chestnuts in anything. I use pecans, so yeah. It was very different. But I was excited about challenging myself, because most of the things I made, I never made before. I made donuts one day on the show, and I never made that donut before. I just was like, let me just come up with this donut recipe real quick. And it turned out perfect. And so I was really excited that I relied on just my instincts and how to bake, and it came out pretty good.
How does that, I've always wondered how that works, because every once in a while you hear somebody say that they've never heard of what this thing is they're baking. Do they give you like a how to make it? Can you Google something? Like how do you get through that?
I mean, they don't give you like, oh, here's how to make a Charlotte Royale. No, you have to, because you come with your understanding of your own recipes already, you know.
Mhm.
So if I have my own recipes, you know, that I bake with already. So like my carrot cake, I've been baking that for, 20 years. So that was something that I was able to make that I already have. Most bakers, bakers, they already have an array of just classic recipes that they can marry with anything. That's what I did. My pecan pie recipe, I kind of married it and made it something else.
Okay.
So no, they don't give you any kind of nothing. No, you have to just come up with it on top.
Did you get a picture of what it looked like, so at least you knew which direction to go in?
I think the Royale, yes, I think they had. Yes, we did know what it looked like, but that's all we knew. It was like, this is what it looks like, and you make it. And we were like, okay.
Did you get to meet the competitors beforehand?
Yes, yeah, we did. It was COVID, so we were all, tested and make sure that no one had COVID before we could start. We were all there together. We didn't know each other at first. We didn't know we didn't know who each other were.
Mhm.
So we would be in the result, and we were like, could they be from the show? But we didn't know until we all met. I think it was like 2 or 3 days before we did get to meet each other, and we were like, well, I didn't know that you were the person on the show, or so.
Yeah.
But we all have talked and remained friends since the show, so it's been
Awesome.
really, really fun.
Oh, wow.
I was gonna ask that, yeah.
Yeah. So what else do you think you got out of it?
Well, I think honestly, I have gotten so many fan mail and emails and phone calls from Canada and Ohio, and I mean just all over. A lot of Canada, like I'm surprised, but a lot of people from Canada, they crack me up. There are a lot of people that want to meet me, or want to come to the bakery, or they want to try the things that I've made. They want me to ship things to them. They that response has been really overwhelming and very, very kind. I mean, we got Christmas cards from fans from all over the world that was that they actually wrote down and mailed it here. It
Wow.
took a lot of effort. So I just can't believe how kind people really are. And now I can't. Whenever I go to do the groceries every week, I'm probably stopped at least 4 or 5 times by someone that says, "Oh my God, I saw you on TV."
Yeah.
So I didn't think I would be that recognized. I don't know why, but it has been overwhelming with how many people have actually watched the show. I think that it was probably one of the most watched shows ever, because as far as the Holiday Baking Championship season, because everywhere I go, someone says, I saw it. So I'm really, I'm really excited, especially for Virginia. I think I did Virginia proud. I think that, I didn't disappoint my staff. They were like very proud of me when I came back, and no one knew, what the status was and if I had won. And they were asking me every day, did you win? I'm like, gotta watch the show. So, they were really anticipating, the show, and it was fun. It's been fun.
Yeah.
So tell us then how you did. Anybody who hasn't seen it yet, or should we make people watch it? People have to go and watch it.
I mean, well, you could still binge it, and it's still fun to watch. I'm just, when I'm at home and I'm just sitting down and I'm watching the Food Network like I am pretty much every day, I see myself, I'm like, oh my God, this is going to run in continuation forever. I'm going to see myself running around crazy and doing all the crazy things that I normally do. I just didn't know they would be able to capture it all so well, because I'm thinking, when did I stick my tongue out at somebody? What is wrong with me? I behaved terribly. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I don't know. It got the best of me a little bit. but I came in top 5. So I was pretty proud of that, to be top 5 out of 13 bakers.
Wow.
So I think I was, did really well. And I was there for every show except for the finale. And so I did well.
Yeah, you did. So what was the craziest thing that happened on the show, if you remember anything that stood out to you?
The craziest thing that happened was I think when I made my donuts, because I woke up that morning and I just instinctively felt like today is a donut day.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I thought that. I just thought donuts. And I had my little book of recipes and things, that I was studying at home, studying in my room. And I was thinking, okay, I'm going to make this donut that I've never made before. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I just feel like today could be a donut day. And when I walked in, they were like, and you're going to make, basically, it was a donut. It was a Jewish donut, but it was a donut. And so I was like, oh my God, that's crazy that I just instinctively thought today is a donut day as soon as I opened my eyeballs. And so I thought that was crazy. And I got to partner with someone, and she was like, okay, I was like, I'll make the dough. I don't know why I said that, because I've never made it before. And she's like, okay, I'm going to make the jam and I'm going to do that. And so I made the dough and I fried the dough perfectly. And Duff, when he looked at my donut, he says, Lashonda, this seems a little bit dark. I don't know. And I knew how it tasted. So I just let him talk. And I said, And he tasted, he says, never mind what I say. I don't know how to make it. He's like, this is delicious. This is the best donut. And we ended up winning that challenge. And so we came in number 1 on that challenge.
Awesome.
So that was really, really, really fun, that I just felt like it was a donut day, and it actually was a donut day.
And you nailed it.
Gosh.
Pretty fun.
Yeah.
That was I know I love watching these kind of shows. So you got me asking all these questions I've always wondered. So you said that you tasted. I've always wondered, like, do you guys make 2 of them? Do you taste like the finished product before you serve it? How does that work?
So if you watch, I taste everything I make, even here in the bakery. And I challenge my bakers, when they've made something, I say, did you taste it? And they're like, well, no. I'm like, well, then what do you think it tastes like? I mean, yes, it might look correct and all of that, but you have to taste your product. So I found myself saying, I need tasting spoons, and no one else was really tasting as much as I was, but I was eating my stuff and making sure it was delicious. So if we had to make 7, I made 10, so I could just try it and make sure that it tastes well. So on the show, they actually showed me eating it and tasting. I was like, this is delicious. So yes, I always tasted everything I made.
That sounds good to me. So do you think, though, that, I mean, this was sort of towards the end of the year, but has it helped you, like, now, like, getting through COVID? Business wise, like, has it brought sort of more business to you?
100%. I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, just people. So one thing that we did was really cool is that everything that I made on the show on Monday night, I made it the next day on Tuesday in the bakery. So they could try the things that I made. Yeah. So that was really fun for people to say. I know I had a lot of customers to say, Tuesday is my favorite day because I get to try whatever you made on the show. I get to actually eat what you made. And one of the most sought after dessert that I made on the show that people love was the chestnut chocolate chip eggnog pie. And so people love that pie and they wanted me to make it all the time. I'm like, no one has time to go get chestnuts every day, people. No one can do that. But so it was really cool that I got to make something every day, every week from the show. Yeah. So that drew in a lot of people, to come in and try the things that I made so they can be a part of the experience. I know I had my husband work with someone that her husband said he just loved, trying the stuff that I made because it was just different stuff. It's not something we always have in the bakery. It was very different. And so it was just a whole different experience. And it was just a fun night for people to come in. First of all, watch the show. And then on the show. So then, I think produced a lot of, traffic, but just overall, I have people now that, come far and near. I was here the other day and someone came from, she came from Charlotte, North Carolina. She said, I drove here just to see you. And I was like, oh my gosh, you drove all the way here to me. That's crazy. So we have those people that are just coming out just to be a part of the bakery. And I think it really helped that that the judges said that most of the things that I made on the show, they said it was absolutely delicious and some of the best stuff they ever had. I got a compliment from Duff himself, which he says that he really loves carrot cake, and I got to make a carrot cake, and he said that my carrot cake was better than his. And
Ooh.
so we call it, now we call it better than Duff carrot cake, because that's what he said. And so I think the way the judges ate my food and the way the judges talked about the things they were eating from me, they really wanted, they really made someone else want to experience the same thing and want to come in and try it and eat it. And so thank God for those reviews. They had a best of the best show, and it was a surprise show that no one knew we were going to have. It was really fun to watch. And they had the most memorable desserts on the show. And I made, they only had, I think it was 1 through 4, and I made the 4th best dessert and the number 1 best dessert on the show.
Nice.
So I hit the category twice. I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. So I was kind of known for my cheesecakes on the show. And so, my cheesecakes were really crazy. My carrot cake was really crazy. Everything I made was really, really good. So thank God for that. So because of that, we've been busy. It's kept us, going for sure.
Yeah. Did you actually introduce anything permanently onto like your menu?
Well, not yet, but I think this year we will. Except our carrot cake. We make it every week anyway. So we make it every Friday, and that's a permanent on our, in our store. But I think I will introduce more cheesecakes because the cheesecakes made the 4th and the first, the 4th and the number 1 dessert on the show. So I think I'll make some more cheesecakes. I don't usually do a lot of cheesecakes here in the bakery, but I think I will this year.
What about, do you also then now do catering, or have you always done catering? Is that
not really? But we're always open to different things. I mean, we don't do a lot of that now, but hey, who knows what the future holds?
Absolutely. I mean,
Very
you could get yourself
positive.
a food truck, you could get more stores. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, we do have a mobile cupcake truck. We have a mobile
Ooh.
cupcake truck that tours the city. And so we've had that for a couple of years now, and that's always been really great for us. So we'll do a little bit more of that. We do it, when it's better weather usually, for sure. But we do little events all the time.
Oh, great. Gosh. And is your husband now like part of the business, or is he still going, okay, this is your baby? Like, how involved is it as a family?
So he's definitely very, very much still hands-on. He does have a career, but I'm always trying to get him to come do something with me. So the new venture that we are doing in Hampton, he's much, much, much going to be a part of that. He works in architecture, and so he is really hands-on when it comes to like the new development of new stores and stuff, because he knows what that's about. So he comes in and he does stuff every single, week with the bakery still. So he's very much, still a partner and still on hands with the, with the bakery.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Gosh, it sounds like you've got some good goals and things underway. So good timing with being on the Food Network, as well as getting into this new venture in Hampton. So yeah. So have you had to close the business for a little bit in Hampton to do this?
No, so we're operating. We have not lost any days. Not even during COVID did we have to lose any days of business. We have never closed the store, not even one day, really, for COVID. So, and even for the renovation, we're going to hopefully work up until we're moving stuff over to the new store. So we've done this before. When we opened in Port Ward, we were on the corner, and then we moved to a much larger space. And when we did that, we did not shut down really only one day. We're closed on Sundays. And so we just kind of transitioned everything over and kind of worked doing that. So we might be closed, a couple of days, but I don't anticipate anything more than like, 4 or 5 days being closed. And no, we're going to be open.
Perfect. Good. So we are getting close to running out of time. I want to ask one more about the holiday baking championship. What was your favorite part about it, or favorite memory from the whole experience?
Um, oh my gosh, that's like a hard question because it was the whole experience was something I never thought that I would be a part of. But really just to be able to make my dessert for the judges. And just to see their response. A lot of the times my friends would text me and say, "You're such a crybaby. You're crying all the time." I'm like, "I know, I don't know why I'm crying." But I think that it's a little humbling and overwhelming when you have these celebrities, chefs that are eating my food and saying, "Look, this stuff is better than mine, and this stuff is outstanding, and you just know how to bake." It's such validation. So for me, just to be able to serve them food that I was happy about and food that I was proud of to serve was really a fun experience. And meeting all the new people that now we are all friends, I think is really amazing, because it's really awesome to be able to have a connection with other bakers and chefs all over the world that I just didn't have before. So just to maintain those relationships have been great. And then where we stayed was amazing. I mean, it was on the hills in California on the beach. Like, it was 75 degrees, sunny every day. It was like beautiful. So just the whole experience was really amazing. I was really tired though. We worked all day pretty much because we had to do all kind of all the work and bake, and it was exhausting, but it was so much fun. And just being there and being in the competition itself was just amazing. But feeding the judges my food was my best was my best thing ever, I think.
So now the judge is going to call you. Is it Duff that's going to call you and say, order a carrot cake for my birthday?
Well, my one of the things I made on the show was my pecan pie, which is like one of our favorite things that I make in my family, and it's my dad's favorite pie. And my whole family lives in Kentucky, so I would make a pie for him for every event, every holiday, every birthday. He only wants a pecan pie, so I make the pie and I ship it to him in Kentucky. So Duff said, the next time you ship your dad a pie, you ship me a pie because it's that good. So yeah, he's told me to make him a pie and ship it. So I will do that for Duff. He's right down the street, like, only like 3 hours in Baltimore.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Lashonda, for being on our show, and congratulations for all your success. It sounds very well earned.
Yes, thanks.
Well, thank you so much. I've been telling people, I don't know. I don't think it's the last that you will see me, hopefully, in one of these shows. I don't know. Maybe I'll come back for redemption or something. Who knows?
Oh, I'll look forward to that.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, thank you guys for having me.